Hello to all my fellow Christmas lovers and enthusiasts. You are listening to Closer to Christmas, and this is episode number 5 for September 2022. On this episode of the show, I'm going to talk about two of my favorite Christmas shops that I visit every summer when we go on vacation, and that is the Ye Olde Christmas shop located in Magic Kingdom at Disney World, and the other is located on Disney property as well in Disney Springs, and it is called Disney's Days of Christmas. So now that you know what we're talking about, go ahead and grab your favorite blend of coffee, hot chocolate, any beverage of choice, sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. To start off the show, I'd like to thank everybody for coming back. If you've listened before, if this is your first time listening, thank you, welcome aboard. And before I get into the main topic on this episode, I want to say thank you and Merry Christmas to the following areas that have listened to my podcast. I checked on some of the analytics and I was surprised to see how far some of the podcasts have reached, so I want to take this minute to say the following. In America, in the United States, I want to say thank you and Merry Christmas to anybody listening in the United States. I would like to say thank you and Happy Christmas to the people listening in the United Kingdom. A huge merci and a joyeux Noël to the people listening in France. To the listeners in Canada, I guess this one could go either way, but I would like to say thank you and a Merry Christmas, and I would also like to say merci, joyeux Noël, depending on where you're from in Canada. Thank you and a Merry Christmas, mate, to the people that are listening in Australia. I would like to say terima kasih and salamat hari Christmas to the listeners in Malaysia. I would also like to say grazie and buon Natale to the listeners in Italy. And finally, I'd like to say salamat and meligayang Pasko to the listeners in the Philippines. Now, honestly, I was just saying this to thank you. I really appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. I wasn't saying it in any language to offend or anything like that. I just wanted to say thanks. I never would have thought that putting out some episodes would get listened to that far around the world, and I really appreciate it. So please don't take that in any offense or anything like that. It was just a heartfelt thank you to the listeners of this podcast. But hey, with that said, now that I got those out of the way, if some listeners happen to pop into the podcast from other areas, I will do that on another future episode as long as nobody's too offended. All right, now that I'm done embarrassing myself with that, I can continue to embarrass myself and fumble on my words. But every year, my family and I, we take a trip to Disney World for our family vacation, either to celebrate my birthday, my son's birthday, whichever week we end up going is what we'll celebrate while we're there. But there are two shops that you could bet I stop in and take pictures, do a little bit of video recording while I'm in there. And one of them is in Magic Kingdom itself. It is the Ye Olde Christmas shop located in Magic Kingdom on Disney property. And the other shop that we visit, which I'll talk about a little bit later, is on Disney property as well, but it is in the Disney Springs area, and that is called Disney's Days of Christmas. The first one we'll talk about, though, is Ye Olde Christmas shop located at Magic Kingdom. It's one of my favorite stores in Magic Kingdom. The smell in that store, the ambiance, just everything about it. I mean, any store in Magic Kingdom is great when you're walking into them in the dead of summer and it's so hot outside and you walk in and you get blasted with that cold air. But there's just something magical about the cold air in that Christmas shop that really makes you feel like you've stepped into winter. The smells in there, the sights, the sounds, just everything about it just really gets me excited, and I cannot wait to get in there every time I get down to Disney World. It's filled all year round with Disney Christmas merchandise. It's obviously with the name Ye Olde Christmas shop, you can guarantee it's a Christmas shop all year round, every day of the year, and I wouldn't want it any other way. Like most shops in Disney World, everything in there is Disney merchandise, as you can assume being in Disney World, but there's sections in there. There's like a Nightmare Before Christmas section, you'll have a Nutcracker section, tons of ornaments, you'll have stockings, and even a Haunted Mansion section, which is really big this year. But there's, different areas that you could go to. They'll do customized ornaments for you, which in my opinion, I don't really go for that, just because they're just using markers and writing the dates on there, and they really, I think it's like $3 extra or something like that to have that done, where the ornaments that we buy every year are more of the figural ornaments, so we don't really write on them anyway. But if you're one that likes to get your ornaments personalized, they do personalize them there, and I believe it's $3 a word that you get put on there. So if you have the date and your family's name, that would be $6 extra. And the thing that they've been doing the last couple of years, which I've noticed, is there's a few, I don't want to say they're generic, but like just a Mickey ear ornament or something similar to that, where they'll already have ones that are personalized with the dates, and obviously not your name or anything like that, because they won't know who's there shopping, but they do just write the year on them. So those ones are usually on a display on a counter behind the personalization place, and the ornaments are already like I said, pre-personalized, and you just add the $3 per word that they might have written on them already to the already ticketed price. The merchandise that's in this store is very similar, if almost not identical, to the Christmas merchandise that's in Disney's Disney's Days of Christmas shop in Disney Springs, but it's just a different vibe. This one's a little bit smaller. You kind of walk through it. You can pop out the back, the side, the front. There's all different directions you could go in. And then the Disney Days of Christmas in Disney Springs is a lot larger. There's a couple of different rooms you could go in. But they do sell most likely the same stuff. There's lots of, cups, plates, decorations, dinnerware, that kind of stuff for your holiday needs. And the patterns change every year, which is really cool. I've only gone in there a couple of times throughout the years where I've seen the same thing as the year prior, and that's some of your basic ornaments that are possibly like the castle that's at Magic Kingdom, the tree in Animal Kingdom. Those types of things really don't change too much. They might add a couple of things here and there, but for the most part, the ornaments and the selections are changed every year that I go there. So it's really something you want to go back into if you go back year after year. Now, I've only gone to Disney one time during the Christmas season, and if you go into that Christmas shop, there is a spot, at least there was the year that I went, there was a spot where children could drop off their letters to Santa. So if you happen to be going there at Christmas time, maybe have the kids write an extra list or something like that, and you could take it, and if that display is in there, go ahead and drop it off in there. That was a really nice touch to see when I was there the one year. This was a few years back, so again, I'm not sure if they do that every year, but it was something that was there one of the years that I happened to be there at Christmas time. The location of Ye Olde Christmas Shop is located in Liberty Square at Magic Kingdom, and it's kind of in between the Skipper Canteen and Cinderella's Royal Table, like those eating areas. Like I said, if you just walk up Main Street, go across the hub and start walking towards, we'll say, Haunted Mansion area, you'll come across it. It'll be on your left-hand side. Obviously, the hours of operation follow the Disney park hours, so it could be 9 a.m. to 11. Sometimes the parks closes at 6. It all depends on the time of year that you go. So a quote online from Ye Olde Christmas Shop, they describe the store as, "Celebrate Christmas any time of the year at this Liberty Square shop. Discover Disney ornaments, stockings, and goodies galore." The opening date of the Christmas shop was on February 5th in 1996. Before it was turned into a Christmas shop in 1996, it actually took over the location of 3 different stores, and the 3 stores that it replaced was the Old World Antiques, the Silversmith, and Mile Lafayette's Perfumery. The Silversmith, I would assume, would be kind of cool for that area, but the other 2 shops I really wouldn't have any interest in, so I'm kind of glad a Christmas shop went in and took place of 3 different shops. But yeah, so before that it was actually 3 different shops. So from the Disney Fandom Wikipedia, there is a little bit of a backstory on the shop. So from their website it says the shop was created by merging 3 separate shops, which we already discussed, and they were given different themes, overall telling a story of a fledgling nation, celebrating the freedom and religions by way of celebrating the holidays. Simpler, more natural decorations of greens, pine cones, and fruit can be found throughout the stores, while candles can be seen gleaming in the windows. A music teacher shop serves as a very formal setting where mandolins, fiddles, and recorders can be seen set up on prepared for a concert on 12th night, January 6th, with sheet music for traditional carols like Joy to the World, The Holly and the Ivy, and I Saw 3 Ships can be seen on music stands. A sign advertising music lessons hanging outside implies that the owner is Ichabod Crane. Next door is a woodworker's shop, a much more casual workshop setting where handcrafted ornaments and toys can be found scattered around the displays. And this all goes in with what I said before, how there's 3 different ways you could get in. If you walk in from the top, you go into that area, that's the personalization area. Then you have a center section with more of your ornaments, and then the front section has all the toys in it. And there's a cash register at each section, so really you could walk in, go to any section you want, find the item you're looking for, and check out pretty quick. But on the Disney Fan Wikipedia page, the 3rd area is located in former Silversmith shop, and it is the home of Keppels, inspired by Walt Disney's grandfather, Keppel Disney, a Pennsylvania German family of craftsmen and folk artists who have welcomed guests into their warm home to share their hospitality and sell their wares. This storyline was intended by the Imagineers to allow the shop to keep a wood-burning stove prop from the former Silversmith shop, though it was ultimately removed for more display space. And I think I remember seeing that kettle in the past, and come to think of it, when I was there this time I didn't see it, so I'm not sure when that was removed, but I do remember seeing that there in the past. So that's the backstory from Disney's Wiki fandom on that, and that was some pretty cool information to read, so I just wanted to pass that along. I did not do the research on that. Like I said, I just looked it up. That was on Disney's Wiki, and just a little bit of information about the shop. Then the second Christmas shop that I would like to talk about is located at the Marketplace in Disney's Springs, and that is called Disney's Days of Christmas. They offer personalization services as well, just like the other Christmas shop in Magic Kingdom. And on their site, they say that you can get into the holiday spirit all year round when you explore a shop brimming with festive decorations and keepsakes. And that is definitely true with this one. As soon as you walk into this one, it's another store that has multiple entrances. I believe there's 3 of them in this one as well. The back entrance used to be a big Nightmare Before Christmas section. I went in there this year, and I believe it's all jewelry back there now. It's a little bit of your higher end stuff in that back section, and that one has a different theming. When you walk into that room, everything's bright and white. It's very different from the rest of the store. When you walk into the other part of the store, depending on which end you walk in, you're greeted by a really big fireplace there with some music playing. The registers are on the sides there, but it has a nice decor. Everything about this place just screams Christmas. I love walking through here, and my family and I, every year when we go to Disney, we always buy an ornament, and it doesn't matter what shop we get it from, as long as it's one of these 2 shops. So if we see one at Disney Springs when we're there, we might save it and get it at Magic Kingdom. It all really depends on what we're carrying that day or how we feel or what type of mood we're in. But we do always pick up a family ornament and hang that on our living room Christmas tree. So we have a lot of different Disney ornaments, and they have all come from one of these 2 Christmas shops. And back to their site about the personalization services. That's a hard bunch of words to say there. They say to commemorate your Disney vacation with a personalized souvenir. For a small fee, one of our artists will handwrite your name, a meaningful phrase, or date on an ornament. One of the great things about this shop in Disney Springs is their window displays. They have a couple of big windows on the sides of the buildings, and they're always decorated nice. It has a living room scene with the tree up and some Mickey and Minnie decorations in there, so I always like to stop outside and take a look at those while I'm at that shop, as well as go inside and take some pictures. And this year when I went, I did take a little video just walking through the store, and I took pictures of most of the displays of the things that I really liked that I thought looked really cool. And I posted those up on my Instagram and Twitter. Those are both at Closer to Xmas, CLOSERTOXMAS, if you want to check those out. But throughout the years, this shop has changed some of its theming, because like I said, the Disney merchandise changes every year, but some years it's like a retro-y vibe. The one year I went in there, it was all like 70s inspired Disney stuff, and the decorations that year were great. I ended up buying, it's not like a bubble light, but they... like the old bubble lights for the Christmas trees. It was something similar to that, where you plug it in and it's a Mickey and he's wearing a Santa hat, but it's all clear and you could see through it. So when you plug it in, as it warms up, all the stuff starts flowing around inside of it. So it's pretty neat. It's basically a night light, but it's Mickey. And it's really heavy though, so I don't really plug it in too often because it kind of leans forward, and I don't like having something hanging out of the sockets when it's plugged into the wall. So the design might be a little bit flawed on that one, but it is a nice piece to look at. The last 2 years, this year and last year, they have gone with more of a Victorian type of a theme. So there's been some ornaments and decorations in there that has a more of a Victorian feel, and it is really neat, but it's really not my cup of tea or any of our decoration style. So I haven't picked any of those things up, but for the most part, like I said, we get our ornament there or at Magic Kingdom. So the ornament that we picked out this year for our family tree was a Mickey cookie type cutout. It's pretty neat. It's thin and it's heavy. I don't know if it's made out of I don't want to say porcelain, but it's a material like that where if you dropped it, it's going to explode everywhere. But it's a cookie cut out in the shape of a Mickey head, and it has Mickey wearing a Santa hat on the front of it. Closer to Christmas, when we get the tree put up and all that type of stuff out, maybe I'll take some pictures of our ornaments throughout the years, and I'll post those up on my Instagram and Twitter as well for you to check out. But that's the ornament we got this year, and we ended up picking that up this year at the Disney Days of Christmas shop. We didn't pick it up in Magic Kingdom this year. So yeah, this year's ornament came from Disney's Days of Christmas. Now, I don't think in the past I'll remember where they came from. Like I said, just one of those 2 shops, so I know this year's came from there. If I really think about it when I look at the ornament, I'll remember picking it up. But there was one other shop in Epcot. It's not a Christmas shop per se, but there is a section of a shop in Epcot that has some Christmas theming. We did pick up a second ornament there once a couple of years back, so that wasn't like our main family ornament, but we did like it, an ornament that they had in there. It was a blown glass Mickey head, and it was really neat. It's a delicate ornament being blown glass, so we wanted to pick up a different one just because I have a fear of something like that falling and breaking, and then we won't have an ornament. But I guess that's all part of the joys of putting out some ornaments like that. You never know what's going to happen. There was 2 years that we got more Halloween type style ornaments. The one year it was a nice Mickey pumpkin, because like I said, we usually go around August, September, so they're all decked out for Halloween, and there was a Mickey head pumpkin. It was really cool. And one year when my wife was opening that to hang it and put it up on the tree, it popped out of the packaging and it smashed one of the ears off. So the rest of the ornament stayed fine. So what I ended up doing was finding a styrofoam ball the same size as the ear, and then I carefully cut off like parts of the glass that were left of the ear, and then I glued the styrofoam ball on, and I tried to paint it to match it, but you could tell I did such a bad job on it. And I don't know why. I'm kind of artistic, but I was not able to match it to the level of quality just because, I mean, if I could be honest with you, I do not like glitter and I don't like being sticky. So to have this styrofoam ball that I coated in glue, and then I tried to sprinkle the glitter on to match the rest of the ornament because it was a glittery green, purple, orange type ornament. It was really just freaking me out because I don't like glitter. And I did the best that I could, but just keep an eye out on my social media for this year, because when I hang that one up, I'll snap a picture of it to show you. But it is an embarrassment on my part. But if you looked at it, I don't want to say you can't tell, because you could definitely tell. So just stay tuned and I'll show you that one a little bit later on my social medias. And then one more thing before I go on this topic. Years back, I didn't actually walk around to the back side of it this year. I don't know why. I was just kind of in a hurry when we were at Disney Springs. But Disney Springs used to be called Downtown Disney. And we used to go there almost every night of our trip just because there was a lot of shops, food, a lot of great entertainment down there. And the last couple of years, once they changed it to Disney Springs, I don't care for their overall theming as soon as you get into the beginning area of it. But behind the Days of Christmas shop, there used to be this display. It was like really tall figures that said Merry Christmas. There was Mickey, Pluto, Goofy, Minnie, Donald. The whole gang was out there and you could take pictures there. And we actually took family pictures there throughout the years. Some years they were used on our Christmas cards. But if that area is still there, I'm pretty sure it is. I don't see how they would get rid of it. But that's a really neat little thing to take a peek at when you look around the back side of Disney's Days of Christmas in Downtown Disney, or Disney Springs, sorry. It's always Downtown Disney to me. But it is Disney Springs, and that is Disney's Days of Christmas, and that is going to conclude my information on the 2 Christmas shops located on Disney property in Disney World in Florida. So if you've gone to either of these shops and you have any opinions or anything you want to tell me about it, please go ahead and email me. I would love to hear from you. closertochristmaspod@gmail.com. I'd love to get your feedback on these shops if you've been there, what your favorite thing about them is, and if you have ever found something that smells like that smell that is in the Christmas shop in Magic Kingdom. I would like to thank you for listening to this episode of Closer to Christmas. Make sure you're checking out my Instagram and Twitter. Both of those are at Closer to Xmas. And if you really want that daily dose of Christmas, you could check out my art Instagram that is at Ague Designs, AGUEDESIGNS, where I'm posting daily Christmas pictures that I draw every day in 2022. And then on Wednesday nights at 6:30 Eastern, I go live on my Twitch channel. That's going to be linked over in my Instagram bio, but every Wednesday 6:30 I go live and I do my daily Christmas drawing on there if you want to check that out for some extra Christmas content from me. So thank you guys for listening from the bottom of my heart. I really appreciate you guys listening. Wherever you're listening in the world, thank you. And the next time you hear my voice in this podcast, we will all be a little bit closer to Christmas. Thank you for listening.